Okay, today we are going to talk about responsibility and growth. By growth, I mean personal growth, personal development, whatever you want to call it. If you want to become a more competent person, the kind of person that a loved one will say, I wish so and so person were here, they will know exactly what to say, they will know exactly what to do. A strong and reliable person, if you want to be someone that can be counted on when things get chaotic and overwhelming, then I have some advice from you. It's actually from my brother. One of the probably the best advice anyone ever gave me is that if you want to grow, if you want to be that kind of person I just mentioned, you need to expand your capacity to take responsibility. You need to open yourself up to responsibility. This means taking on more work, like taking on endeavors or initiatives that will better your life and the lives of your loved ones. We already have responsibilities in life, and a lot of people complain a lot about the responsibilities that they already have. And the solution to their complaints, ironically, is actually taking on more responsibility. There are people complaining about the responsibilities they have and how overwhelming they are, for whom the solution lies not in shirking or in abandoning or shedding off some of those responsibilities, but in taking on more. And another way I would put this is, it's like turning around and facing the bull and grabbing it by the horn. When you're running away from the bull, you don't have eyes behind your back, so you don't really know what you're up against. When you turn around and face it, you have more confidence because you know just how bad it is, and you begin to count your chances. So obviously for some people, they would say, okay, I'm already almost at my breaking point. I can't imagine myself continuing on this path for another 1 year, 2 years, 3 years or so, let alone taking on more. And for such people, in some cases, it might be a fair protestation, right? It might be a fair excuse, if I can call it that. But before you ever get to that point, before you bring that up as your explanation or excuse for not taking on more, ask yourself this: how committed or how wholehearted are you when you are handling the responsibilities you already have? How much effort do you put into being productive, into being efficient, right? Because for a lot of there are times when in my life I see myself as taking on way too much responsibility. I feel overworked. I feel like I'm stretching myself thin, when in fact the actual hours of effort that I put in per day would be maybe 7-8 hours. A lot of that time is just spent either being distracted or just going through the motions without my whole heart being in it. Yeah, so if you can get to the level, if first of all your first step is acknowledging that you are capable of more, no matter how far you are already stretched, you are capable of more, or you're capable of being more productive while working probably less than you already are, because a change in mindset could be all you need to transform your productivity, to transform yourself. So start with the mindset. Mindset is everything. If you think that you're already stretched, I can promise you that you can be way more productive while not feeling yourself as stretched as you usually feel. And then so basically, if you answer this question of how much effort or how wholeheartedly do you pour yourself into that endeavor or those endeavors, if you answer it honestly and you still feel like the odds are stacked against you, or you feel like the work that you're up against is like a mountain that you cannot really move, then I suppose the next step would be to ask yourself if you really need to do those things at all. Because sometimes we take on white elephant projects that are not productive, projects that do not add any value. They keep us occupied. They make us feel as if we are doing something productive, when in fact it is just work for work's sake. It's like taking a ton of like carrying maybe 10 bricks on your head and moving to the end of the field there, and then turning around and coming back and placing it here. It is work, but it doesn't help anybody. So ask yourself if you really need to do the things that you're doing, not as an escape. You're not asking this question as an escape. You're asking it with a genuine desire to be productive. So when you ask that question, sometimes the scale will fall from your eyes, and you will recognize that no, this is not something I ought to be doing right now. You probably pivot into something else. You probably delegate. I'm a software engineer, and one of my weaknesses, I'm not only saying it by my own evaluation, my teammates have told me, one of my weaknesses is I don't delegate. Usually I'll just, it's easier for me to just do it. That's how I'll just say, and then I'll go on and pile on work on top of other work, and then I'll end up feeling stretched and so on. Yeah, some work could be delegated. These are questions that you probably not encounter, or you probably not really come up with, unless you have made that decision that I'm going to take on more responsibility, I'm going to be more productive, I'm going to achieve more. You'll be results oriented. That's what it means to take on more responsibility. Yeah, so when you make that decision, that's when a lot of these things would make themselves clear to you. Yeah, what else? Sorry, I'm just freestyling this, so I didn't have a script or anything like that. Yeah, I think that's basically it. That's basically it. The world needs more competent people. Sometimes the being competent is the greatest good you can do in the world. Sometimes being competent is the greatest good you can do in the world. Doesn't matter how mundane the task is, as long as it is helpful to someone or some people, then don't take it lightly. Alright, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for listening, and do enjoy the rest of your day or night.